cool kids, we are going to add something else to our writing notebook in the grammar section. So turn there, and we added a page about pronouns on page 152. Now we're going to add possessive pronouns and then also possessives. So we're going to put possessive pronouns on 153 and then possessives on 154. So you can pause the video so that you can add those things to your table of contents. And then you can turn to page 153. All right, on 153, now here's what we did for pronouns on page 152, and we learned that pronouns take the place of a noun. So instead of saying her name, I can say she. Instead of saying his name, I can say him, or they, or them, or it. And now we're going to talk about possessive pronouns, because possessive shows ownership. That's the number one thing we want to remember. So possessive shows ownership. Now, you're going to get this little foldable. It's already cut out for you, but you need to fold on this black line. Fold it so it'll open up. And then you're going to cut this little slit in the middle. And then once you've done that, you can glue it down and use your glue sponges because it'll stay a lot better than if you use a glue stick. You can glue it down on page 153, and then we'll continue. So go ahead and do that, and then unpause the video. Okay, so singular possessive pronouns, it means that it just belongs to one person, okay? So the number one thing I want us to remember is that possessive pronouns show ownership. So we're going to write that over here. You can write it with a color if you want. Shows ownership. Just means that you own something. Okay? So a singular possessive pronoun just means that one person owns it. So it could be my dog, or the book is mine. It could be his lunch, or that could be, that book could be hers. It could also be, I should put her on here as well. It could be her shoe. It could be your pencil, or those pencils could be yours. So depending on if there's an S on the end of it, you put it in a different place in the sentence. His always has an S on the end of it. But having the S on the end of it doesn't have anything to do with the word being plural. It just means that one person owns it. So you just have to think her, that's one person. His, that's talking about him, it's one person. My, well, me, I'm one person. And then it's, this one means that the thing owns it. You could say the dog has a bone, that's its bone. Or you could say, like the apple's stem, you could say its stem. It's showing ownership. You do not put an apostrophe in the pronoun when it's showing ownership, okay? The only apostrophe with it would be its apostrophe. It would be it is, the contraction it is. So there's no apostrophe in this. Now for plural possessives, all this means is that we are saying that the thing belongs to more than one person. So here's some. It could be our classroom, or the books could be ours. They belong to all of us. It could be their books, or the books could be theirs. Okay, so their is like they. It refers to a group. Our is like saying we or us. It refers to a group of people. So those are the possessive pronouns that show ownership. So you're going to get these written down. So if you need to pause it, you can. And then we're going to flip to page 154 and do our possessive nouns. All right, page 154. This little sheet, if you cut right around the edge of all of it, it will actually, the whole thing will fit in here just perfectly. So cut and get that put in there, and then we're going to add some information on here. So now we learned how to show that pronouns show possession, but it's by changing it and using a different word. Now when we're talking about nouns showing possession, we actually have to use apostrophes. So when the word is singular, we have a certain rule we follow. I'm going to highlight this, and you can pick a color and highlight it as well. When it's a singular possessive, we are going to add an apostrophe and then an S. So we'll do some examples of this. So here's a little detective. Let's talk about his hat. We would say, and the detective, it's just talking about one detective, not a group of detectives. So we're going to put the detective's hat. Well, we don't want it to look like we're talking about a group of detectives and making the word plural, so we're going to put an apostrophe there to show that the detective owns the hat. So that is the detective's hat. Now, the possessive pronoun I would use for that would be, that is his hat. Okay, so here's the girl. So we're going to put the girl's pencil. That is a big pencil. Okay, now this looks plural. We're not talking about more than one girl that owns the pencil. We're just talking about one girl. So I'm going to put an apostrophe here. It's the girl's pencil, just one girl. Okay, and then down here I've got this little pirate. So this is the pirate's treasure. So we're going to write pirate's treasure. Okay, well, I'm not talking about a group of pirates that own this treasure. I'm just talking about one. So the apostrophe has to come before the S. Okay, so that is singular. And now when we're talking about plural, when the noun is already plural, we do something different. So over here what we've done is we've showed that it's just one person that owns something. Okay, it could be a thing that owns something, but typically it's going to be a person or an animal that owns something. So we can't put the S and then the apostrophe. It would be confusing. So now, plural possessive nouns, we add, we're going to write this on here. I don't have this glued down. We add the apostrophe after the S. Now make sure your apostrophe doesn't look like a comma. It doesn't go way down at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to add the apostrophe after the S. Let's highlight these in a different color so we'll remember. So here, this is what I do for a singular possessive, and here is what I do for a plural possessive, so I can remember that rule. And then we'll do some examples here together. So here I've got more than one girl. So I'm going to write the girl's book. Now over here I have one girl that owns this pencil, so I put the apostrophe and then the S. Over here I have two girls that own the book, so I've got to make the word plural first. So it's girls, then the apostrophe shows that they own it. So that's really all the apostrophe does. It just shows that you own something. The S makes it plural. Here the apostrophe S shows that you own it. Okay, and here we've got some dogs. So we're going to put the dog's house. So they both own this house. So we've got the word dog plural because we're talking about more than one dog. Then we put the apostrophe. And this is kind of a funny one down here. Can you tell what this is? These are two peas in a pod. So we're going to say this is the peas, little green peas. The peas pod. They own the pod. And there's more than one of them, so we're going to put the apostrophe after the S. So that's how we do possessives with apostrophes.